Member for Kenora-Rainy River.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm very pleased to stand and have the opportunity to contribute to this very important debate, to speak on this motion which states, just for the people at home, be it resolved that every member of the Legislative Assembly of Ontario unite to end violence against women and girls in all forms by building awareness, better law enforcement, and by encouraging more emphasis on coordinated community response. I'd like to start off by saying that we need to do more than what this motion proposes. As a government and as a society, we need to stand up to all forms of violent behavior and invest in strategies aimed at eliminating the root causes, not just actions that are designed to help when the pain has already been inflicted. Today's private member's motion, however, fails to recognize or even address the ways that the system is letting women and families down. And I'm probably going to be the negative ninny in the debate. I'm just throwing that out there. This is something that's very, very important to me, personal to me. I have been in receipt of these services that we're talking about, of women's shelters. My stepmother has dedicated her entire life to helping women in their time of need by running a women's shelter, and I know that we can and we need to do more. The issue of safety of women, of all members of society, particularly vulnerable sectors, is of paramount importance, and I'm going to say it again, I'm going to be negative, but this government cannot hide behind a private member's motion. It needs to prioritize this issue and put it at the forefront. I know that there's people on the opposite side who think that this is an important issue, but we really need to do something about it. Globally, 1 in 3 women will be the victim of sexual assault. And while conditions have improved, many women continue to experience discrimination, barriers to employment, lack of affordable housing and childcare, and lower wages than their male counterparts. These are all things that need to change. The government needs to act now to implement the Step It Up campaign's 10 steps to end violence against women. It includes things like fair access to justice for women and providing secure funding for women's organizations. With all the accolades that have been mentioned, I think it's a reflection of the fact that these women's shelters and these outstanding women and men who are helping are doing it in spite of the lack of supports. A very telling example of our failure to provide supports came during the recent pre-budget consultation meetings in Thunder Bay. Of just over 20 submissions, we had submissions from Red Lake's New Starts for Women's Shelter, Dryden's Hoshizaki House and Second Stage Housing Shelter, Faye Peterson House Shelter in Thunder Bay, all of whom were asking the province to provide them with very basic supports to help them provide services for abused and battered women and their families. It has been more than a decade since any shelter in the Northwest has received building funds. Many of these shelters, such as Hoshizaki House in Dryden, are literally crumbling to the ground, trying to exist in a building that's more than 100 years old. We lack basic support, such as affordable housing for women who have escaped violent relationships. In short, we're failing people who need the support the most. I will support today's motion, but there's so much more that we need to do. Thank you.